Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're decoding the absolute universal language of science, measurement. Every single great scientific discovery, from mapping the human genome to landing rovers on Mars, relies on undeniable absolute precision. So let's step right into the Academy of Measurement and equip you with the skills you need to analyze the physical world.
Think about it. Before we can, analyze ancient artifacts, engineer wild new tech, or synthesize groundbreaking elements in the lab, we have to pause and ask ourselves one fundamental question. How do we actually measure the unknown? If you're handed an object you've literally never seen before, you can't just guess its properties. You need a systematic, globally recognized approach to unlock its secrets.
So, imagine you're handed this completely mysterious scientific artifact. Our primary mission today is figuring out exactly how to measure its length, mass, and volume using the correct equipment. And honestly, more importantly, how to do it without making those classic errors that always seem to trap novice scientists.
To get everyone speaking that universal language, we've got to first define our three core dimensions. First up is length, which is simply the distance between 2 points. Next is mass, which is the actual amount of matter contained within an object. And finally, we have volume, which measures the amount of three-dimensional space that an object, or a substance, actually takes up. These three dimensions basically form the bedrock of almost all physical science.
And it's really cool how these core dimensions map perfectly to standard international units, SI units, and the actual physical tools we rely on in the lab. For length, the base unit is the meter. For mass, it's the kilogram, measured on an electronic balance. And for volume, the SI unit is the cubic meter. Scientists worldwide use these exact units, so a massive discovery in Tokyo can be perfectly replicated in Toronto.
Let's actually zero in on volume for a second, because this is where things get super practical. While the cubic meter is the official SI unit for volume, a cubic meter is massive. Think of a really large moving box. For practical liquid measurements in a lab setting, we commonly use the liter or the milliliter. And here is the golden rule you need to lock into your memory right now. 1 milliliter of liquid takes up the exact same amount of space as 1 cubic centimeter of a solid. It's a flawless one-to-one conversion that bridges liquids and solids.
All right, moving on to some advanced techniques. Having the right tools is great, but it honestly isn't enough. You've got to align them perfectly. For length, your eye absolutely must be level with the mark to avoid any weird visual distortion. For mass, you want to place the object in the exact center of the balance. But volume? Well, volume requires mastering a very specific visual technique. So, the real trick when measuring liquid volume in a measuring cylinder is mastering this quirky little phenomenon known as the meniscus. Because water molecules are naturally attracted to the glass or plastic sides of the cylinder, the surface of the liquid isn't perfectly flat, it curves. That little curve is the meniscus, and reading it incorrectly is probably the #1 mistake made in any lab.
It's a total novice trap to read the liquid level from above. Looking down from that angle creates a completely false reading. Instead, you must always physically lower yourself so you're targeting the absolute lowest point of that curve, the bottom of the meniscus, perfectly at eye level. That right there is the true volume of your liquid.
Now, finding the volume of a liquid? Super straightforward. Finding the volume of a perfect cube? That's just basic math. But what if the object is some weird, irregular shape, like a rough gemstone or a jagged piece of a meteorite? You definitely can't use a ruler for that. For irregular solids, we use this brilliant 3-step advanced protocol called the displacement method. First, you record the exact initial volume of water in a cylinder. Second, carefully submerge your irregular object. And third, measure the new, higher water level and just subtract your starting number. In practice, it's honestly beautiful to watch. You take that initial eye-level reading and then splash. As the object sinks, it pushes out or displaces an amount of water exactly equal to its own volume, forcing the liquid level to rise. Subtracting the initial volume from the final volume perfectly reveals the hidden size of that irregular solid. It's just a beautifully simple, highly precise technique.
Okay, next we really need to tackle one of the absolute biggest illusions in novice physics. It's a misconception that trips up almost everyone, the fundamental difference between mass and weight. In everyday conversation, we toss these words around interchangeably, but in the strict language of science, they are entirely different concepts. Mass is the constant amount of matter in an object, measured in kilograms. Weight, on the other hand, is the invisible force of gravity actively pulling down on that mass, and it's measured in newtons.
To put that in perspective, just picture an astronaut floating in deep space compared to standing firmly in a gravity-controlled room. Out in space, where there is essentially zero gravity, their weight drops entirely to 0 newtons. They're literally weightless. But their mass, the physical matter making up their body, their bones, their suit, that remains absolutely constant. Your mass never ever changes, no matter where you happen to be in the universe.
All right, so we've got the theory down, but science is a totally hands-on pursuit, right? Now it's time to put all this theory into physical practice. When you step into the lab, you're going to engage in 3 distinct trials designed to forge your measurement skills from raw, basic knowledge into absolute practical mastery. First up is the measurement station, where you'll be handed unknown objects and tasked with finding their exact length, mass, and volume using everything we've just discussed. Then, we hit the estimation game. You and a partner will first guess the dimensions of everyday items and then actually measure them to reveal the truth, which really fine-tunes your scientific intuition. Finally, in the third trial, you'll master the meniscus by practicing eye-level targeting with colored water until your readings are completely flawless.
To wrap up everything we've decoded today, I really want you to lock these 4 pillars into your memory banks. First, rely on the universal code. Always use SI units so your data speaks globally. Second, always find the perfect angle. Hit that meniscus perfectly at eye level. Third, deploy the displacement tactic for finding the volume of any irregular solid. And finally, utilize the shield against error. Always repeat your measurements and calculate the average to defeat random human errors.
Because, measurement isn't just about reading numbers off a tool. It's literally the key to unlocking the reality of the physical world. So, as you prepare to submit your data and step into the physical lab, I want to leave you with this thought. What hidden scientific mysteries will your new measurement mastery help you uncover today? The tools are right there in your hands. Go find out.